I'm Rich Franklin, and you're watching Celebrity Bites on SNTV. Plans right now. So I came out to LA about a year ago. I've been out here basically full time, working on a juice bar. I've been working on opening a juice bar. I finally got ZeLin, my juice bar, open over on Beverly Drive. And it's just been one of those things that's consumed my day from sunrise to sunset for almost the last year. And so I'm training, but I'm just not in fight training. And I have one fight left on my contract, and it's just a matter of when I can actually let my business kind of stand alone and me step back for a second and put my full energy back into fight training before I schedule that last fight. I have one fight left on my contract, and unless something majorly changes with me, like that, I wake up and I say, oh no, I have to do more, I have to do more. That'll end up being my last fight. I lost my last fight, and that took me out of title contention, and because that took me out of title contention, the thought process to me is, well, I have one fight left on my contract. I would love to finish my contract out just to complete something, but I don't plan on sticking around to do 6 or 7 more fights to kind of climb myself back up the ladder to title contention. And if I'm not going to fight for a title, then is there really a reason to stay in the game for another extended period of time for 3 fights or 4 fights? Listen, I'm one of those fighters. If you look back in my career, I held the title at 185. After that, I bounced, did some fights at 185, went up to 205, and I've just kind of been one of those people that is not really picky about who I'm fighting. I'll just say that whoever my last fight would be, I would just want somebody, it would need to be somebody exciting. If I could choose a legacy, I would just want people to know that during my career, I think that the fans know that I've always put on exciting fights and that I left everything on the line. And so it was a very, very rare occasion for me to walk out of the cage and say, well, Rich didn't give 100% in that fight. You know, Anderson lost the first fight to Weidman, and everybody, myself included, kind of sitting there like, oh wow, was this a fluke? Was this not a fluke? And then after the second fight with Anderson breaking his leg, and he said that he's going to return, and if he said that, I believe that he means it. It's just going to be a difficult return because it's obviously his kicking leg. He now has a rod down through his leg. From the time of that injury, it's going to be, I'd say, probably a year before he's running on this thing again, and he'll need to be able to run and jump and all that kind of stuff before he can even begin getting himself back into shape. And then he needs to get himself back into shape before he can actually start fight training. So I believe that the road to recovery and his return in the sport is going to be a very, very difficult thing to do. And this period in MMA right now, especially given the fact that he's injured, GSP retired, you're seeing 2 major faces of the UFC kind of phase out, and this may actually very well be that kind of changing of the guard to a new era of the UFC. I don't think I could return to a traditional high school classroom. It's just, I'll say this much. One, I love teaching, and I love mathematics, but I don't like teaching mathematics, if that makes any sense. But the reality is that being in a classroom from that 9-to-5 job, I would probably feel like a caged tiger at this point in my life. I do, however, have a passion for educating, and especially for children and stuff like that. So, like with the juice company, we've talked about maybe like we're setting up a foundation at some point in time where we're educating like children on nutrition and stuff like that. We've contacted like Beverly Hills school system because our first store is in Beverly Hills and stuff like that. So I have this passion to work for kids. I just don't think I'd ever actually return back to teaching full time. The juice company is called ZeLin, Juice Infusion Cafe. At our location, we have a plethora of products. Basically, my business partner and I, when we were developing the business plan, in the city, there are a lot of cold-pressed juiceries out there. And depending on how technical we wanted to get with this conversation, we wanted to offer more than just some cold-pressed juicing. So we basically said, look, I come into a store and I like to see my juice made fresh. So I want to be able to walk in and say, give me one of these, and I see people make it fresh for me. But there are times when I walk into a store and I want to be able to just grab a bottle of juice that's already been made and it's cold pressed. And it's a different style of juicing that'll preserve the nutrients for longer, whereas a fresh made juice is designed to drink kind of right on the spot. But we have, we do smoothies, we have acai bowls, we do juices, we have a full tonic elixir bar with some Chinese herbs, and we can design things like we have a drink on our menu called cough syrup, and we have a lot of people in the surrounding area that'll come in, like if they're not feeling good, they'll drink one of these things just to kind of, it's basically to keep them from getting sick. So instead of just walking to like a local ice cream type of shop and just getting themselves some sort of malt or smoothie or something like that, they can come into my location and they can eat something that's made with things like beets and kale and dates and stuff like that. And when they taste it, they're like, wow, this is actually amazing. And it's a delicious drink that is actually full of, you know, your vitamins and minerals and nutrients and things that you need in the day, and it's not just some junk food. ZeLin's at 252 South Beverly Drive. I'm there all the time. Like if you come in the store, you may actually catch me making a juice for you. It's rare because I don't like to mess things up for the customers, but we're open basically 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and then Saturdays I want to say that we're open from 9 to 5 and Sundays 9 to 3, I believe. But on our door, we have our hours are 6:59 a.m. to 7:01 p.m. because that's our commitment to the customer. We come in a minute early and stay a minute late for them.